Okay, guys, we are back again. This is, you know what time it is. It's time for Spitting Sports with your one and only Marlon Jackson and my co-host Gary Hughes and our guest that's coming back with us to always bless us with his presence, Mr. King. Today we're going to continue with our Hall of Fame topics because there's certain opinions and certain things that we need to get out the finish to let you guys know about how we feel about these Hall of Fame picks and what is the definition of a true Hall of Fame player. So with that being in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and let Hughes start it off, and then I'm gonna let King take it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up where these two left off because obviously there's something that I'm missing when it comes to the definition of a Hall of Fame. So I want to hear from these two gentlemen here and get their perspectives of it while the show goes on. So, guys, go ahead and take it over, Hughes.
The Hall of Famer basically, man, changes the game for their team. They put the team on their back. This team would be drastically at a loss without this particular person on the team. So, of course, people like Michael Jordan, what would the Bulls be without him? Patrick Ewing, what would the Knicks be without Pat? These people are irreplaceable, right? That means nobody can come in and fill their role and carry the team. These teams are going to win more most of the time, not all the time, than what they lose. And these particular players have put teams on their back and carried them through playoff victories and even championships.
Boo! I'm looking at the list of the Hall of Famers.
Go ahead and tell us what's on the list of the Hall of Famers. From the list
You've got Chris Bosh. Mm-hmm. Chris Bosh carried a team and changed the game? No. I mean, Paul Pierce, he was a good basketball player, but without Kevin Garnett, you don't hear.
Or Ray Allen. You can't really, without him or Ray Allen, you can't really.
I mean, now granted, Paul Pierce get you buckets. Yeah. Granted, agreed. But carry a team? He didn't carry that team. No, he needed help. And that's why I can appreciate basketball players taking ownership of where I'm going to play. Because there's no longer the $1 million slave that I think Rick Rhoden wrote about. It's no longer the $1 million slave. Mm-hmm. I'm going to choose where I'm going to play, and I'm going to talk to the people that I played AAU basketball with. Come on, man. We was good AAU, man. Let's do it in the pros. So, no.
Paul, you don't think Paul Pierce is a Hall of Famer?
No.
Based on your criteria of changing the game, no.
So based on the way that the NBA is doing it, and based on the way that they consider stats and a great player, anybody can get in the Hall of Fame nowadays. Like it just don't make.
Is Alex English a Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Now, what's the difference between him and Paul?
He was not tall enough to score in the paint the way he scored in the paint. He was not tall enough to do that. That's a game changer. George Gervin, game changer. Paul Pierce is a very good basketball player.
Hughes, what was your definition of a Hall of Famer? What did you say, Lazar? You said a Hall of Famer is somebody that you can't game changer for.
Game changer.
So why is Michael Cooper? Why are you telling me Michael Cooper is a Hall of Famer, Marlon? Come on, let's hear this one.
Michael Cooper is a Hall of Famer because you got to look at it. Without his stats and without, looking at Magic and Kareem, Michael Cooper was the guy that would go in there and guard the best player in and out each game and making sure that the Lakers were staying, in the lead or, closing out games and making it hard for their best player to get 40, 50 a night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Michael Cooper was that guy that if you didn't have Michael Cooper on your team, it was hard to win championships.
So he was the first Scottie Pippen.
That's how I look at it. Yes, that's how I look at it. Michael Cooper was that glue that kept that Lakers team together.
What's the reason why when Kareem got hurt in the championships? Was that 1980?
You talking about like 80? I think that was like 88, 89.
When Magic played center?
No, when Kareem got hurt in Magic, who came in and dropped 42?
Magic
Johnson. That's a Hall of Famer.
I mean, but Hughes, to Marlon's point, is there another Magic? See, it's a difference when you have a name that is just One word: Bird, Magic, Mike, Kobe, Shaq.
Dr. J.
Now, Michael Cooper may be a Hall of Famer, he may not be, but he's not a one-name person. Kareem, Wilt. Come on, no. So that's not even fair, Hugh. Don't do that. Don't do
Is
that.
Michael Cooper better than Byron? I mean, what's his name?
End up coaching in the NBA.
Yeah.
Who, Byron Scott?
He couldn't shoot like that. Because my only problem with Michael Cooper being a Hall of Famer is he could not create a shot. It was almost like,
always didn't really, but there's a lot of Hall of Famers that really couldn't create a shot, but they contribute.
Agreed.
But they did contribute in other ways.
But with that team, it was almost like, Michael Cooper, go stand in the corner. I got Jamal Wilkes over here. I got Big Game James. I got Magic. I got Kareem.
He said James Worthy wasn't a Hall of Fame player. He said
Who said that?
You said that.
No, he's a Hall of Famer.
Nah, you ain't say that last week.
I didn't say that.
Nah, he was not a Hall of Fame player.
Big Game James he's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, but now
on the outside, he just barely made it. But he's a guy.
He barely.
I'm gonna let you take that one, King.
Yeah.
Barely? Did you see what he did to the Celtics?
He only had one move, King. Spin on the baseline. That's it.
You messing with Matty, get that rebound, and they push the ball up the court, and he hit Big Game James, and James dribbling the ball, palms it off the dribble. At what? You don't do that.
What he dribble about 2 times?
And palm it off the dribble. So ain't no reaching in the way you trying to cuff the ball. You reach in if you want to. That's an and one. No. Big Game James gonna palm the ball off the dribble, and he's going straight up, and there's nothing you can do about it. Look, Big Game James got a pedigree way back to when they beat Georgetown. He had 28 that night. Mike hit the shot. Big Game James had 28.
College don't count though.
Oh, it don't count? But when he had 28, the Lakers were smart enough like, oh yeah, get him. He's looking for the spotlight.
The best college player in basketball ever didn't make it in the pros. What's his name?
How many NBA players shrink in that spotlight? The lights in LA and the lights in New York and the lights in Chicago are bigger than everywhere else on the planet. How many good basketball players, good, shrink in that spotlight? Yeah. I can name 5 of them right now. Kenny Skywalker came from Kentucky, drafted by the Knicks. Oh, well. Mel Turpin, Sam Bowie. I can name them. The big lights, Hughes. Can you perform when the stage is the biggest?
If Michael Cooper's I'm only following Michael Cooper being a Hall of Famer. It's 100 Michael Coopers out there, man.
Name 5 of them.
Latrell Sprewell.
No. Sprewell going to the cup. Sprewell going to the cup. That's a good try, but try again.
They're not like it's like the elite quarterbacks. Some quarterbacks are elite. Some quarterbacks are just very good. Michael Cooper wasn't no elite player. He was just a very good role player.
He started. That's not a role. You start on this team. And tomorrow
was Kevin McHale. He was not a role player, but he was not a starter. He was a 6th man for most of his career.
I don't know about that one, Hughes. I thought he started alongside Parrish.
He did.
Him Parrish, and Bird was the front line.
He was a 6th man. Look it up.
No, maybe his rookie year. But no.
So McHale? Michael Cooper's better than Latrell Sprewell? Heck no.
That's a hard question.
Different
skill sets. It's different skill sets.
They're good in different positions. They both have different styles of play.
Michael Cooper might not be better than Allen Houston.
Oh man, don't go there.
Michael Cooper wasn't better. He was like an Andrew Toney for the Philadelphia 76ers.
So would you put Allen Houston in the
Wait. Hold on. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Because I was a Sixer fan back then. Andrew Toney was the Boston Strangler. All he could do was shoot the 3. Mo Cheeks was the oil that made that machine run. So don't do that. Don't do that.
What? And weren't they similar? Andrew Toney and Michael Cooper?
No.
When I say similar,
Andrew Toney could not play the level of defense that Michael Cooper played. No.
Michael Cooper won defensive titles, man, for a few years, man. Michael defense, come on, man.
Yeah, you just want to argue right now.
Michael Cooper also got dunked on. He got the most.
Okay, man. I mean, there's a lot of players in the NBA that's gotten dunked on, man.
Did you see dunk on him?
Huh?
King.
Yeah.
Did you see Dr. J dunk on Michael Cooper?
Dr. J dunked on everybody. Right. What are you talking about? Look, did John Starks dunk on Michael Jordan when he took baseline?
Pull it up in your YouTube.
Oh, no, I know he did. I'm a Knicks fan. I've been a Knicks fan since Bernard King played for the Knicks back in 83, 84.
Bernard King, was he a Hall of Famer?
All the big dog could do was score, though. I mean, that's a hard one.
Now, that's the question that we got to answer. Are these guys that are in the Hall of Fame now really Hall of Fame players? See, I feel like that's what a Hall of Fame is biased because they're picking you because
you got the list up, King, for this year.
Yeah, I'm looking up Kevin McHale. You told me to look up Kevin McHale. Was Kevin McHale a starter?
They have to go by stats instead of going by what you can actually do on the court. That's why I say like the NBA is biased. That because I would have never put Chris Bosh, Paul Pierce, or Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame. Hell no.
What about Chris Webber?
No, not even Chris Webber.
I mean, but if you think about it, now I wouldn't either. Let me be clear, I wouldn't either. But Chris Webber was a point forward way before Draymond. He was a hell of a player. He gonna push the ball up the court.
Chris Webber was a hell of a player, but that wasn't the guy that you'd be like, oh man, we about to go play Chris Webber, man. Let me figure out what we gotta do to stop this guy, man. Shut him down.
Why not?
Hell no, man. No. I ain't never heard nobody say that they went to a game plan and said that they had to prepare for Chris Webber.
Chris Webber got buckets, man.
Man,
I'm glad you said that. But that's always Hughes' go-to move. Ain't nobody prepared for him. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Now, the one person I will say, King, that was in the Hall of Fame class that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame is Tim Duncan. That's the only one I can see that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. To carry that Spurs team to 5 titles in 20 years, that's the only guy I can see do that. That's a guy you can't prepare for.
Yes. Look, what's Shaq calling the big fundamental?
Yeah,
ain't
the big
you can do with that.
I got the
footwork.
And King, you've been around a long time. You know Duncan has that. He's that guy. You can't stop that backboard shot, man. That shot there, that's a Hall of Fame player in my book, man.
Look, Kevin McHale, first round, 3rd pick overall, known as the torture chamber. Yeah. Kevin McHale. He was not a 6th man. He was the 3rd overall pick.
That don't mean they were smart. The Celtics were smart. Now
he was a starter. The front line was him, Parrish, and Bird.
I know at the end they ended up.
Not at the end. No, not at the end. I'm talking about when they would beat I was a 76er fan, Hughes. I know. The one thing I hated about the Celtics, but they kept beating my 76ers. But when you talk about playing basketball, fundamentally sound, no, I couldn't do nothing with that. And Kevin McHale used to abuse Caldwell Jones, and Daryl Dawkins couldn't do nothing with Parrish. That's how we lost.
During the beginning of his pro career, Kevin McHale was a dominant 6th man for the Boston Celtics.
Beginning
in his time as first man off the bench, Kevin McHale won back-to-back NBA 6th Man of the Year awards in 84, 85, and 85 and 86. All right, come on now, man.
Kevin McHale started 399 games as a starter in his career, period.
Okay, but he had 2 years when he was 6th Man of the Year. Now, let me say this. I'm not taking nothing from his talent. I think that was more of strategy at the time. He was a starter. He had starter talent, but for some reason, they wanted to bring this man off the bench. And it was whoever started in front of him got injured at some point, and that's when they was like, okay, well, Kevin should be a starter anyway, so it was easy.
So that there's something to be said about bringing along rookies slowly.
I don't know if it was bringing them along slowly or just
He didn't start.
We want
He
some
didn't
power.
start.
We want some power off the bench. Come on, man. When I coached the James Madison Middle School girls, it was a starter that probably was on the bench that could have started. You can't have all your guns, on the starting rotation.
And I understand that, Hughes. And I never coached basketball. Let me be clear. I understand that, and I always thought you was a good coach. But Chanel always killed us. But back to the point, Kevin McHale is a Hall of Famer. He came off the bench as a sixth man. He's a Hall of Famer.
You know why he's a Hall of Famer? Because he's versatile. He's
good.
I know.
He's good.
But he can do everything. Your man Michael Cooper couldn't do everything.
What could Michael Cooper not do?
Man, I couldn't do everything, man.
Yeah, what could he not do?
Yeah, man. I want to hear this, man. What
now you done got me on. So what could he not do?
How much did he average in his career, Marlon?
Oh, nah. See, now you done put it out there.
Now you acting like the actual NBA now, looking at stats and looking at
you gotta look at stats for the Hall of Famer.
That's how they're choosing these Hall of Famers with stats and what
they not. They just put Ben Wallace there.
Huh?
Ben Wallace averaged 5 points a game.
But they're looking at his rebounding stats. It's not just his points. You got to think about it. It's more than one stat line in the NBA.
A Hall of Famer needs to have – they need to be balanced, in my opinion. It can't just be you did 12, 13 rebounds a game at 1 point. That's not a Hall of Famer. I'm going to need you to get a double-double, man.
Okay, well, let's look at Michael Cooper's stats. 41 minutes a game, 18 points a game, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 0.5 steals, 1.5 block shots. I mean, it's a well-rounded game.
Was that for his career?
I can kind of feel the argument now that I look at the numbers. It's a well-rounded game. He was the first Scottie Pippen. He getting 18.
That's all you really need. A guy to get 18 and then let your star.
Was that for his career?
Yep, that was for his career.
So he was better than Nick Van Exel, Marlon?
Yeah, hell yeah. Van Exel, man. Van Exel ain't no Hall of Famer. Van Exel was a good player. There's a difference between a Hall of Famer and a good player.
Van Exel got buckets, man. And
so that makes him a Hall of Famer because he got
played on bad Laker teams.
He got buckets.
He played on bad Laker teams, man.
Okay, and so that means because he got buckets that he's a Hall of Famer now.
He was the best person on his team.
At that
makes you a Hall of Famer?
That's what I want you to answer.
If you saying Michael Cooper was the third or fourth, maybe fifth best player on his team.
But the other 4 players were Hall of Famers. Kareem, Magic, James Worthy. Okay, man, he was number 4. Those are 3 Hall of Famers. So he was the 4th. I mean,
he was better than Jamal Wilkes, wasn't he?
What?
Yeah, he was better than Jamal Wilkes. He better defense. He couldn't shoot like Jamal Wilkes.
He was better defense. Better all around game. You can't win Defensive Player of the Year 3 years in a row, man. You're not a good defender, man. You just can't win that, man.
Yeah.
So he's Gary.
Look at that. Hughes, he's the first defensive team for his whole career. He's been on the first defensive NBA team, man, since I've known Michael Cooper to be playing, man. I'm young. So Michael Cooper was alive when I wasn't even born, but to follow him and look at his career and his stats, man, that says a lot.
So you saying he like Gary Clark with the Redskins?
Now you going to football, man. It's a whole different aspect.
But see, no. He's doing that because he wants Gary Clark to be in the Hall of Fame because Drew Pearson is in the Hall of Fame.
Gary Clark got the same numbers as Drew Pearson.
Right, but the Hail Mary is named for who?
Name for who? What you mean? Drew Pearson?
Okay. If Drew Pearson brought his star back. That's how that goes. Hughes, it's a signature move or a signature play, there's something that stands out about you. That, okay, you have done A, B, C, and D. Yeah. Because nobody else up until that point has done A, B, and C.
So that's
Tom Davis in the Hall of Fame because he created a shotgun. Who does not run a shotgun right now? Don't do that. Go back to basketball.
So you saying that's why Robert Horry is supposed to be a Hall of Famer?
No, I'm saying Robert Horry has 7 rings. Nobody that is not a Boston Celtic has 7 rings. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you.
Now let me
I looked it up. I was like, maybe I'm crazy.
Now let me ask you this, and then we're gonna move to our next topic because I know this Hall of Fame one we can go on all day about. Now, do we think that the NBA should change the way that they vote on who should be in the Hall of Fame when it comes to these people that they pick? Out of this 140 that they pick, the 10 that they narrow down, should they get better at deciding really who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Take away stats and take away stats and take away records. Now, who should really be in the Hall of Fame? That's the question that needs to be answered when it comes to the NBA. Because these guys that you just named, Chris Bosh and Paul Pierce and all them guys, they're great players. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take another. They're great players in the system that they're in, but they're not Hall of Fame players. They can't carry a team for 10 plus years. And you know what I'm saying, and be that guy that can clutch it in clutch moments. I don't think that can happen.
I think, Marlon, to your point, I think there needs to be criteria for those who select Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Because baseball, football, basketball is very subjective.
Anybody can be in the Hall of Fame now all of a sudden.
It's just very subjective. Because if you get, and I don't know the criteria, but if you get a 40-year-old that had the opportunity to select somebody going to the Hall of Fame, they wouldn't remember Michael Cooper.
You're right.
They would not even remember Michael Cooper. So, I mean, I look at it twofold. There has to be some criteria for those that are casting their votes for the Hall of Famers.
Those that are picking those 10 out of those 140, 50 players that are being sent to them to do it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I thought about this today. I said, man, before Barry Bonds had them allegations, before Roger Clemens had them allegations, Barry Bonds' hand-eye coordination was better than Ken Griffey Jr. I'm old enough to remember Barry Bonds' father playing. I'm old enough to remember Ken Griffey's father playing. I mean, but the hand-eye coordination of those two, second to none. I've never seen anybody that could do that to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Never. So I think the real issue is the criteria for the people who are selecting the Hall of Famers.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think they need to pass a certain criteria before they're able to vote or judge anybody to be in the Hall of Fame. Because like I said, that goes back to it being biased, because you can pick your favorite player as a Hall of Fame player, not knowing that, there's way better players than that person that you're choosing, or there's way better players that deserve to be in that spot than the people that you're choosing, because you got to think the difference between a star, a superstar, and the greatest of all time. That's how pick those categories and separate it.
Guess what your man said, King?
I'm sorry?
Your man Marlon said that Jerry Rice is not a Hall of Famer.
Yes, I did say that.
Don't say that again. Don't say that again.
Jerry Rice was a hell of a player, not a Hall of Fame player, man.
Then why you say that, Marlon?
I told you why I said that.
You want me to tell you about the rules of the game?
Okay, now let me say this. I'm not gonna bother you with Jerry Rice because I'm not even gonna do that. Michael Irvin is not a Hall of Famer, and I'm a Cowboy fan.
He's not.
No, he's not a Hall of Famer. He was a great player. He talked his way into the Hall of Fame.
He was a hell of a player, but no.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
I even told Hughes, I said the same. I said it's like with T.O. I don't think T.O. is a Hall of Fame player, to be honest.
But his numbers are like second only to Jerry Rice.
Numbers don't mean anything. That's how I look at it, man. Numbers can be a race.
Played in a Super Bowl on an ankle that he broke 3 weeks earlier.
But did he win that Super Bowl? No.
No one player wins a Super Bowl.
I understand it. Just like no one player wins a championship.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
don't.
we want to get out of football. We want to get out of football.
Well, what I
Because,
will
look,
say, Marlon is, and I think Jerry Rice is a Hall of Famer, but he didn't play in bump and run. You couldn't bump Jerry Rice all the way down the field. All right. So
because the rule changed, you're gonna hold that against Jerry Rice?
you have to some degree.
Why?
Because
we are abiding by the rules. Okay, and in the
that's
same
a major
sense,
rule, man.
okay, so in the same sense, that means Lester Hayes would stick him everywhere on his body is not a Hall of Famer.
If he was playing today, he might not have as many interceptions.
Yeah, and if I hit the lottery, I will start working tomorrow. Come on, man. If you can't do the if game, you play the game by the rules that are established. If you cannot use Stickum, you can't use Stickum. Period.
What I'm looking for is somebody that could possibly play in any era and still be good. And I know that's hard to.
Now you gave a perfect example last week.
Tony Jurgensen could have played in any era.
Yeah. Well, like you said, your boy
thrower he was.
Boy that used to play for Hughes, what's your boy you said that used to play for San Fran? Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott can play in any era.
Ronnie Lott might not be able to play today. He would get a lot of unsportsmanlike.
He would get ejected. He would get ejected every other game.
Yeah.
But that's all.
And I like Ronnie Lott. Anybody who goes to the sideline and says, man, cut the tip of this finger off, man, so I can go back out there and play. Yeah, you go to Hall of Fame.
You go
to Hall of Fame. But look, I don't care what else you ever did in your life and your career, you go to Hall of Fame.
Dan Marino could have played in any era.
Sonny Jurgensen?
What?
You never watched Sonny, have you?
No.
Sonny was throwing for 4,000 yards a season back when it was a running game.
Yeah, when it was 1960. So okay. I won't even argue that. I don't have enough knowledge. So that means
Jim Brown wasn't that good then because he was playing against white boys, slow white boys.
No, he wasn't. That's not the truth. Herb Adderley played. He was black. Don't do that.
One person?
Don't do. That's the one that comes to the top of my head.
Don't do that.
Willie Lanier, he played doing that. No, Hughes, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not baseball. It's not baseball. It's not baseball. If you did that with baseball, I'd give you that. No.
Could Jim Brown be a Hall of Famer in today's game? But he still be as powerful? Maybe not, because he was a power.
No, yes, he would.
Yale Sayers would.
I think Jim Brown would be. I think Jim Brown would too.
I don't know them guys just as big as him now, man.
Yeah, but they're not as fast.
How much did Jim Brown weigh? 230?
Oh, I don't know. I can look it up for you. I don't know.
Yeah. So different eras mean things, man. Maybe it should be a Hall of Fame for each era.
That's how I would like. Now I can agree with that because then that makes it easier to say, okay, you're good in this class, but you're not good of all time. You're good for this particular section, but not this section. Like that's how I think you should do it. Break it down into sections, eras, decades. Break it down like that, but don't break it down into all the time. Because
I mean, look at Archie Manning. He played with the Sorry Saints, man. But from what I hear, Archie Manning was a very good quarterback.
Now, what about your boy from the Buffalo Bills?
Who, Jim Kelly?
Yeah, was that a Hall of Fame player?
He a Hall of Famer. He played in four Super Bowls
and lost all four.
But Terry Bradshaw is a Hall of Famer, but I don't think he had a lot to do with his Super Bowl wins.
No, it was Lynn Swann and that Steelers defense. Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, and that Steelers defense.
Oh yeah, in the running game too.
Yeah, you got what? Franco Harris back there as your fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got on the defense, you got Mean Joe Green and them guys, man. Come on now.
Now, remember now, Rocky Bly was the fullback. I'm a Cowboy fan. They beat us 4 times in the Super Bowl. I still got beef about that. But then in retrospect, when I look at it, they had more Hall of Famers than us. That's why. They're supposed to win. More Hall of Famers than us. Jim Brown was 6'2", 215. 12 games a year, ended up with, what's this? 12,000 yards in a 12-game season.
You say he was 6'6".
6'2".
I mean, he had 1,000 yards or 100 yards in each game for 12
Right.
games straight.
In a 12-game season.
That means he had 100 yards a game. Come on, man. I don't see
And he
too many running
had
backs.
262 receptions for 2,500 yards and 20 receiving touchdowns.
I
Yeah,
don't know
do
too
that.
many. I
Don't
don't
do
know
that.
too many running backs that get.
Oh, I'm
nah, I know
sorry. I'm
running
sorry.
backs
It
that
wasn't
get
215. It was 230. He weighed 230.
6'2", 230.
Yeah,
Only
230.
dude I see now that's doing that is Derrick Henry.
You
That's
know how
the
big, Marlon, you know how big that was for back then? 230 is big now. So
yeah.
how much you think the linebackers weighed back then, King? How much did the
I
linebackers?
mean, I can look one of them up. But if you 6'2" and you weigh 230 and you could hit that hole to your man's point, Marlon, like Derrick Henry, no, I don't care how fast or how big you are. I don't care how fast or how big you are. If you can hit that hole like that, come on, man. Let's be realistic. 12,000 yards in 12 games, and then retired early to go Hollywood. What are we talking about? What if he'd have played 5 more years? Emmitt Smith would never have that record. Emmitt Smith would never have that record, and it was just not white people he was playing against. Stop doing that.
But the linebackers were probably weighing how much a linebacker weigh today, Marlon? About 230?
Linebacker today weigh about 250 plus, depending on their
It all
height.
depends. Are you talking about a middle linebacker? You talking about an outside? You talking about the Sam, the Will, the Mike? Which linebacker are you talking
When
about?
you look at it, like, I give you an example. That's like your boy Khalil Mack. He's 6'3", 250, 260. Like that's a solid outside linebacker that plays. So
And he plays defensive end.
So how much you think they weighed in the late 60s? Their linebackers were probably weighing 200 pounds.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Wasn't Sam Huff a linebacker for the Redskins?
Uh-huh.
Let's look him up. Let's do that. No need to guess. Sam Huff, football player. He weighed 230. He weighed 230.
So Jim Brown was weighing the same as the linebackers.
Yeah.
So today you got guys, running backs of 205, 210, and then
that's on the small side. Ezekiel Elliott weighs 220.
220. How much the linebackers? The linebackers 250. How much does Khalil Mack weigh?
He's got to be like 240, 250. 6'3", 240, 250. Like as a linebacker.
My whole point, Marlon, is Jim Brown was bigger or just the same size as the linebacker that he was running through. Would he be the same effective runner today?
Khalil Mack is 6'3", 247.
That's not, like I said, 250. Then I say that like average 250. That's not bad.
But somebody still has to tackle. I don't care how big you are.
Them shoulder pads, you got to think about it way more too when you add on to it. So
so let's think about it. If we talking about size, we talking about running backs. How big was Refrigerator Perry?
And he was a DT. He ain't even play running back. He was a DT, but they put him in.
So but my point is, we running through that hole. We're gonna run through this hole right here, young man.
Refrigerator. Just do it. Stop us every play.
He weighed 300 pounds. And he played with arguably one of the best defenses ever. You could almost say ever. I would say one of the best defenses I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We're gonna run through this hole. You still need a guard and a tackle to block. So it doesn't matter how big the running back is. If the hole is what the Gail says, all I need is what 6 inches.
Mm-hmm.
6 inches of space. And I'm gonna get through that hole. That's because somebody blocking. So we could argue about size and the errors and all that, but some things are just obvious.
Gail says he transcends errors. That's what the next show need to be on, Marlon. That the athletes that transcended errors.
Okay, we can have that.
Now,
you can do that, Hughes, but you'll get a lot of pushback.
That's
because all Will Tedman can do is dunk.
Yeah. And he's dunking on white boys.
So he couldn't do that with Shaq.
He couldn't. I don't think he could
Because
handle
Shaq not letting you come in his lane.
Will Chamberlain. He couldn't deal with Shaq.
And look, I'm a Knicks fan. Charles Oakley is gonna foul you, man. Go to free throw line. We ain't doing that. And then when he fouls out, we gonna send Anthony Mason to do the same thing. When he fouls out, we gonna send Charles Smith to do the same thing. So when you do that everything, man, that's real hard.
If you think about it, Will Chamberlain couldn't. I don't think he could dominate in this league now, man. I'm telling you.
That's why he only got one ring. He couldn't do that with Bill Russell. Now, granted, the Celtics had about 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on that team, but you can't do that. You can't do that with Bill Russell. I'm not even a Bill Russell fan. I'm just looking at the stats and the numbers. They played in the finals, 5, 6 times? Can't do nothing with that. Hell, when he played with Philly, you couldn't get past the Celtics. What are we talking about?
Well, this is a good lead-in, man, to like I say, the special players.
Yeah.
Michael Cooper wasn't a special player. Remember, I used the word special? And Michael Cooper, for the record, was my guy.
Hey, let me be clear, Marlon. Special players are known by one name.
What was your word you said, Hughes? Utility players can't be a Hall of Famer. Is that not what you said last show? You said
I don't like utility players in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think Michael Cooper's no utility player. Now I'm not going that far with you, Hughes.
Could they have won without Michael Cooper? Yes. They continued to win championships even though he left.
But I mean, that's a good GM and that's good. That's a good organization. Because
let me say
I don't know. But to Marlon's point, I don't know if you win without Michael Cooper because Michael Cooper shut down the Boston Assassin, Andrew Toney. I don't know if you win without Michael Cooper.
This is how I look at it, King.
Michael Cooper wasn't nothing without Magic. The Lakers, I don't even know how I can't remember how they got the draft Magic. Didn't they just win a championship?
No, somebody got hurt. There was an injury. That's how they ended up drafting. And I'm gonna look that up. That's a good question.
Let me go back to this.
Did Michael Cooper win a championship without Magic?
I think he could have. If it depends on where
he may have, Marlon.
Depending on any other team he would have went to, I think so. But back in the day, they didn't have all that free agency and all them changes. You stuck with your team that you were with until you died. But here's how I look at it, Hughes. So all those great stars that are in the Hall of Fame and that won championships, do you think they would have won them championships just by themselves, or do you think they would have had to have pieces around them to win those championships?
They needed pieces. You're right. Scotty, Mike wouldn't have won nothing without Scotty and even Steve Kerr, John Paxson.
So that's what I'm saying. So Michael Cooper is a piece to that Magic and Kareem.
He's a piece, but pieces don't go in the Hall of Fame.
And how
okay,
come they don't?
Okay, here you go.
So this is how I look at it, Hughes. The Hall of Fame is like a puzzle.
Marlon,
the Hall of Fame is like a puzzle, and the team is like a puzzle. If you don't have the right pieces that fits that puzzle, Marlon, it's not going to work perfectly.
Do you take your side piece out to dinner in a public restaurant?
What the hell does that have to do with what we're talking about? I mean, you threw me off. Look, I went to Google how they drafted the Lakers.
But Ken, you know what I'm saying, though, right? You need a puzzle.
Marlon,
a team is like a puzzle.
Marlon, to your point, you are exactly right. The Philadelphia 76ers could not get past Boston until they traded for Moses Malone. That was the missing piece to get Dr. J that ring.
That's all I'm saying, King. Right?
In the playoffs, they only lost one game. That is the best percentage ever.
Moses Malone is not a piece. That was the best player on their team.
But they needed that piece to win the ring. You already had Mo Cheeks, you had Andrew Toney, you had Dr. J, you had Bobby Jones, you had Caldwell Jones. You needed somebody to beat
You need a piece
Celtics
to win those championships, man. I'm telling you. A team is like a puzzle. If you don't have the right pieces to that puzzle, you're not going to get that.
Y'all losing y'all mind. Do not compare Moses Malone to no Michael Cooper.
No. I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing them. Let me be clear. I'm not comparing them. What I'm saying to Marlon's point is you need the pieces because they have. Okay, if you look at, let's go back to football. That Houston Oilers team that was up 35-3 against Buffalo and couldn't close. They didn't have all the pieces. You were missing a closer. I'm a New York Knicks fan to this day. The problem with the New York Knicks is we don't have a closer, which means ultimately you don't have a point guard. If I had Rondo will put everybody. Man, we're gonna run three. We're gonna run three. I don't care what you did, how hot you been. We're gonna run three, and that's what that when you talk about pieces. That's why I think the Clippers are probably going to win the championship because you have somebody who has championship pedigree. I know what I'm doing. Shut up, Paul Playoff P. Shut up, Kawhi. I know, I understand, but we're going to run this play. And ain't nobody going to argue with him. Look, I done seen Rondo cuss his own team out. And then go to the sideline and cut the coach out. Man, shut up. I know what I'm doing. The pieces have to fit or you don't have a complete puzzle. That's what it is.
That's all I'm saying.
And he's right.
Michael Cooper was a piece to that puzzle for those Lakers to win them championships.
He was
but now, Marlon, you pushing it now. I don't know if Michael Cooper did fit. Let me say that he did fit.
He was a good.
I ain't gonna say he was the missing piece now.
I ain't saying he was a missing piece. King, that's not what I'm saying. Let me change that. I'm saying, but he did fit in that puzzle that the Lakers had going. He did fit in that scheme fit that they had going when they were playing.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. This is how the Lakers got Magic Johnson. The Lakers acquired a first-round pick in the 1979 draft from New Orleans when the Jazz signed Gail Goodrich as a free agent before the 76-77 season. After that season, the Lakers used the pick to select Magic Johnson, setting up the Showtime era. So that's how they ended up with that first pick.
But did they have a champion? When they come over a championship before they drafted him?
No.
No.
Let me ask you this, Marlon. Then we got to close it down. Can you put make Len Bias an honorary Hall of Famer?
I mean, what did you just say? Didn't you just say we can't count college? Isn't that what you just said?
Oh, kill it, Marlon.
Isn't that what you just said earlier? So we can't put that on there if that's how you said it, man. Now if we are, then it's different. But those are your words.
Is he in the College Hall of Fame? He should be in the college basketball.
He should be in the College Hall of Fame, but if he wants to talk about honorary one, what did he say earlier, King? He said we can't count college games.
Nope. Don't. That's a good try, though, Hughes. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
So with that being said, y'all, that we're coming to the conclusion of our show. These Hall of Fame topics will definitely get us going because, like I said, everybody has their own views of it, but this is how we look at it. And like I said, to go back to what King was saying, every Hall of Fame judge needs a criteria before they can sit here and put players into the Hall of Fame. Because you got to really sit down and analyze what a Hall of Fame stands for and what it means to be in the Hall of Fame. Because there are great players, but then there are superstars. So we have to be able to determine and separate who's good and who's the one that you have to worry about when it comes down to it. That's the criteria that the Hall of Fame should be talking about, and that's the bias that they need to get rid of in any sport: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, and everything. When you have a criteria, that helps you prepare better for the Hall of Fame, and that helps you pick better for people who deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So that being said, you guys, we want you guys to keep checking us out. We want you guys to keep following, liking, subscribing. Tell us how you feel about today's show. We might do a part 3. Who knows? But
this is a great topic because they need some clarification on the criteria to select Hall of Famers.
To select Hall of Famers, yeah. So with that being said, you guys, keep tuning in, keep watching. We're gonna keep keeping it real with you. Nothing that we say is, going to be scripted. Everything we're going to give you is going to be the raw footage, the real. You're going to have to love us for who we are and take it as it is. But with that being said, we love you guys. Continue to keep watching. Continue to subscribe and let's go from there and continue to support as we keep giving you the best way we know how.